Hey guys, how are you doing? My name is Lena and welcome to another video. So yeah, this is also a bit late, yes. But today we're going to record? Yeah? We're going to talk about all the new releases that are coming out in July. I know that this is going to be up pretty late, almost in the middle of the month, but still, you might not know about some of these new books that are releasing. So yeah, because I'm awful at keeping up with the new books that are coming out, I decided to make this list. So let me share it with you. And welcome to my new background for just today. Because I needed my computer so I can actually see everything. Yeah. So let's start with the 4th of July, which is the day that I'm recording this, by the way. Happy 4th of July. But we have At Luna by Hugh Steer. This is actually a indie book for what I believe is a speculative fiction. Is that how you say it? I'm having a hard time. Words. Oof. Basically, science fiction. They have a war going on the moon, and we follow one of the soldiers there, but they one day discover this ship that has crashed, and they think that is the enemy, but actually it's someone from Earth, and it's just like, whoa, what's happening? But yeah, that's the summary. You're welcome. I'm just having such a weird day. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, it seems really interesting. It's actually a pretty short book. Oh no, it's actually 400 pages. I thought that it was the other short book. But yeah, this sounds amazing. I'm for sure going to read this. So let's just go until the 6th of July. For this I have another indie book. What is going on? But this is Grimdog and the Dark Lord. And this is kind of apparently a collection of short stories. And it just sounds so good. We follow this three-headed ogre. And he just decided that he's not long going to be the hero, so what he's going to do is actually applying for the army of the Dark Lord. I don't know, it sounds great. Sometimes I don't usually love humor in books, but there's sometimes you have these books that are just like, I need that. I want that. Same with Ergonomics. Was that the winner for last year? I don't remember, but that sounded great also. Then let's talk about the 7th of July. So many things are coming out this day. There are not that many books. Well, there are a couple of books. Oof. There are tons of books, actually. So, the first one that I have here is a science fiction YA novel. This is All These Monsters by Amy Tintera. We basically follow her having this fight against his father, against everything that she stands for previously, but also against these alien creatures that had taken over the earth. So, you know what? She actually decides to join this this international club to slay these aliens. It sounds good. I don't know what is going on with these extremely short reviews. I don't know. I just don't want to read the entire summary. I like to say what actually grabbed my attention. If you understand what I mean. But yeah, it sounds actually pretty good. I don't know. I'm just like, maybe. It might be awful, but I think that it might be actually really great. Then we have a retelling. This is a fantasy YA. This is Cinderella is Dead by Kelly Bayron. And, retelling of Cinderella, but they are actually a group of women trying to take over the government. It sounds good. It sounds plausible. It sounds actually really great. I'll probably read this one. I really, really love the cover. It's actually gorgeous, even though I don't like people on covers, but when they are drawn, that's another thing. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for this one. Then we also have Serpentthorne. This is another fantasy YA retelling. This is basically about a girl who is actually cursed by having like a poisonous touch. It sounds pretty good. I was really curious about this one because I saw a review by Pierre Ford and it sounded interesting. It doesn't sound like the book of my life, but it sounds pretty good. It sounds interesting. Then we have an anthology collection. This is the Book of Dragons, and it has stories from Jonathan Strahan, Garth Nix, Rebecca Kwan, Anne Leckie, and many more. And many more. It's basically short stories about dragons. It sounds great for itself. I mean, I love the fact that it has different tales according to different mythologies around dragons, because it's not the same the European dragon as the Asian dragon. I'm sold. I'm so for sure going to read this one. Then we have here a sequel. I won't go into detail with it because I haven't read the first book, so I don't want to spoil myself or you, so we'll keep it short. This is The Crow Rider by Kaylin Josephson. You might have seen the cover for the first book also, which sounded really great, but I haven't got the chance to actually read it yet, which makes me pretty sad. But yeah, the sequel is coming out on the 7th also. This might be the time where I actually read it. I think actually this is also a duology, so it's the last book of the series, but I'm not 100% sure. Then another sequel, this is The Damned by Renee Ahdieh. This is the sequel to The Beautiful that came out last year, which was about vampires on New Orleans in the 1800s. Something like that, but yeah, witches, vampires, historical fiction. Apparently it was pretty okay, but nothing over the top. Still, I think that I might actually try the first one and see if I like it, but apparently the sequel was actually a step up from the first one. So yeah, that's what I gathered from the kind of early reviews of it. So yeah. Then another YA fantasy. This is The Princess Will Save You, and this is by Sarah Henning, and it's like a bender of roles. Does that even make sense? Probably not, but basically she's a princess, he is a civil boy. They basically kidnapped him, so she decides to go after him and save him. And you know what? It sounds weird. It sounds like classic fantasy, so I'm all on board for it. Then we have a thriller horror novel. This is The Shadows by Alex North, and I thought that this was actually related to the Whispers Man, to the Whisper Man, but apparently it's just like another novel. I don't know why. I thought that it was a sequel or something. I haven't read any of these books, but I'm actually really excited to read The Whisper Man. I didn't got the chance to get around it yet, but I'm actually really excited for this one. It sounded really good. But yeah, it's basically about a copycat murderer and its pursuit, so you know what? I'm all on board for it. I just love copycats in every type of media. Well, I was going to say in books, but I also love it in movies. What was... Actually, the movie is called Copycat, now that I think so, by Sigourney Weaver. That film is amazing. We are going through this so fast. Then we have here Unconquerable Sun by Kate Elliott. This is a science fiction book, and apparently it's a retelling also. What is going on with so many retellings? I will just show you one sentence about this book. Okay? This is basically a gender-swapped Alexander the Great on space. I have a couple of friends currently reading it, so I'm really curious about it. You know what? It's so hard to find the new science fiction releases. I don't know why, but if I type just like new book releases, it's only going to be like fantasy or contemporary, but not much sci-fi, and it makes me super mad. Then we have another sequel. This is Unravel the Dusk, book 2 in the Blood of Stars, and it's by Elizabeth Lim. You might remember this cover because it came out last year, and it's beautiful, and they match so beautifully. But this is kind of Mulan retelling apparently, but she makes dresses. Yeah, it sounds pretty weird, but yeah. Apparently, in order to get in this kind of competition, she needs to make herself pass as a boy, and she just can't make these dresses for her. I don't really know. I haven't read it, but it sounded pretty weird. But still, these covers are so beautiful that I'm actually kind of interested in reading the first one. Then we're still on the 7th. It's not going to end. We have Burn Our Bodies Down by Rory Power. She is the author of Wilder Girls, which I just recently unhauled. because it makes me genuinely mad just to think about it. But I want to try this book and not at the same time because I don't want to be disappointed again, but I really like the premise of the first book, so perhaps it was weird because it was her first book. Maybe, I don't know, but I will think about it. I'll think about it. Maybe I would just listen to the audiobook and see how I feel, but I don't know. But you know, this has a trope that I really like. We follow Margot, and she has basically only know her mother on her entire life, and she doesn't know anything about her past until one day she finds a photograph having this city name on it, and she decides to go there to find answers. And I really liked kind of the mysterious sound, that sort of stuff, so I might try it, but I won't promise anything. And then we have Survivor's Song by Paul Template. It's a zombie book. Yes, I'm just so excited. I really, really want to get to this. It's 3 days until the 7th, and I might think about pre-ordering it because I've been quite interested on reading Paul Template, but dude, if you give me zombies, I will read it 100%. But yeah, you know how this goes. Plague, everyone starts to go crazy, they start to fight another human, and I'm just so happy. We need more zombie books. We need more. There are not enough. Can you see how this makes me like genuinely happy? Then we have another science fiction book. More precisely, it's apparently a space opera. This is called Every Sky a Grave by Jay Posey. But yeah, the cool thing that basically grabbed my attention from this book is that it has this sentence that is language is literally power. They basically understood apparently the fundamental language of the universe, and they use it to just spread around the galaxy, and it sounded great. But also we have a threat coming to the galaxy, and I mean, I love kind of first contact with aliens, even they are good or bad, I don't care. So yeah, I'm super excited for this one. I'm actually going to market it because I will probably forget about it. Then another sci-fi. I mean, what happened this month? But this is a YA sci-fi novel. This is called Hardwired by Len Blahos. I don't know if I'm saying it wrong, but probably yes. I mean, this is basically about an AI that gains conscience and starts to have feelings. That kind of trope that I don't really enjoy that much, but if it's done right, I will love it. Just like in Westworld, for example. We are finally moving to another day. On the 14th, we have another sequel, but this is actually the third book on a series. This is The Relentless Moon, book 3 on the Lady Astronaut by Mary Robinette Kowal. I'm sure that you have seen this cover around, the Calculating Stars. But yeah, it's kind of a alternative history type of book with who actually goes into the moon. So yeah, I haven't read the first books, but I'm actually, with time, I'm getting more excited for them, if it makes any sense. Then we have Ghostwood Song by Erica Waters. This is a YA fantasy novel. It's about this girl who has this fiddle that can actually summon ghosts. Sounds great. But yeah, I'm really curious about this one, and it actually has a LGBT plus love triangle. Just for you to know. Then we also have the Storyteller's Daughter by Victoria Maccombs. I'm having such a hard time today. I don't know what's going on. And this is a Rumpelstiltskin retelling. We follow this village in which every new child is born with a gift, and this girl is born actually giftless, and she basically needs to find her power, and she basically resorts to Rumpelstiltskin. But yeah, I will leave it at that because I think that I said too much already. Then I have here a contemporary book. You didn't see this coming, right? This is Mayhem by Estelle Lore? I don't know. But apparently, this is a mashup between The Lost Boys and The Craft. We have like generational magic and also this hunt for this guy who's been kidnapping kids. It's not like a weird mixture, but I love that it has like a little bit of magic in there because if not, I wouldn't read it. But yeah, it doesn't sound really bad actually. I don't know. I'm just really curious. I'm really opening up to some new really weird releases. I don't really know much about this book, but I've seen people saying that it's pretty great, so I'm going to include it here. This is The Only Good Indians by Steph Graham Jones, and this is a horror novel, kind of leaning more towards paranormal. And I don't know, I don't really know about what it's about, but I know that it has like Indian mythology on there, like traditions and stuff. So I'm pretty curious, but I really don't really know what it's actually about. Oh my god, there's actually animal death. Ugh. Now I don't know if I'm going to read it because I hate to read animals dying. I hate it so much. I'm going to quickly mention this one, but we have Queen of Storms by Raymond E. Feist. This is the sequel to King of Ashes. But yeah, this is book 2 in the Fireman saga, but I'm just going to quickly mention it because apparently this is a standalone series, so it's not on the same world as Rift War Saga, so I will let you know. But yeah, I'm currently reading Magician by Feist, so then another sequel. This is the month of sequels of series that I haven't started. But we have When Jackals Storm the Walls by Bradley Blue. I want to say it in French, but I don't really think that this guy's French, so I'm not sure. But yeah, this is book 5 on the Son of Shattered Sands, and I have the first book somewhere there. But yeah, the first book is the 12 Kings of Sherakai, and I've been really trying to get into that one, but it's just so thick that I really didn't have the chance yet. But yeah, I'm just really wanted to get into the series, so please make me do it. Say that it's fantastic. I really want to read it. We have another vampire novel this month. Makes me generally so happy again, like zombies. Vampire and zombies. I want more of that, please. So we have here The Veil of Dark by Caleb Rorik. We follow August in this one. Basically, he meets this absolutely incredibly hot vampire, and stuff happen. Basically, a dark power is awakening, and I don't know. I'm just so happy. I want more of this. Uh, just because I have read the Southern Book Club's guide for Slaying Vampires, and that was pretty much a contemporary. I'm actually having high hopes for this one too. Then we are changing the day. We are going on to the 21st of July. So the first book that we have here is Ashes of the Sun by Django Wexler. I have not yet read a book by Django Wexler, although I own the 1000 something. Where do I keep losing all my books today? What's going on? The 1000 Names, it's right there. He kind of wrote this apparently amazing military fantasy, which I love military fantasy, so I'm all for it. I will start it once I finish the Ghosts of Blood and Powder. Magic destroyed apparently this empire. Siblings were separated. One of them is searching for the other, but one of them is actually in this path for vengeance, and I love that kind of thing. So yeah, it sounds pretty weird. I know I haven't explained it really well, but I'm okay with reading it. I requested an arc. I was completely rejected. Sadness. But still, I'm super excited to read it, and I will 100% read this book when it comes out. Probably not when it comes out, but soon after that. Can we just stop having new releases coming out? I'm just going to tell you one thing about this book. This is the Splinters of Scarlet by Emily Bain Murphy, and I put it on the to read list because of this sentence. It's basically Enchanté meets Downton Abbey. And I love that. But yeah, that's barely all I know. But yeah, it's basically more of a historical fiction, but mixed with a little bit of fantasy, and we have like this great kind of scheme going on that even includes the king of Denmark, and we have magic, but magic is pretty dangerous because it actually killed the sister of the protagonist. So yeah, it's a pretty weird mixture. The synopsis is really, really long, and I don't really want to tell you that much because I think that it's too much, actually, the synopsis. But yeah, it sounded pretty good. I don't know, I really like the mixture. Oh, another book that I'm just super excited to get to. This is The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson. This is, again, historical fiction mixed with fantasy and horror, which I think that is a great combination. We follow Emmanuel, and she's lured into this part of the forest where this prophet once killed these 4 amazing and powerful witches. And basically, these witches gave her this journal from her mother, and she basically starts to understand what happened before and how she was related to this kind of witch thing. It sounds great. We need, again, more witches. So we have another fantasy YA novel. This is Windswept, and it's by Wen Cole, and it's basically about this girl who actually meets this guy who can teleport. Amazing. It reminds me of Jumper. That's it. She actually finds out that her family was keeping many things from her, and that there's maybe something going on beneath the surface, but yeah, I won't tell you much. Then I'm super excited for this because you don't know this. I haven't said it like never, but the first audiobook that I ever listened to, actually in English, or well, in Spanish, the first audiobook that I ever listened to was Bird Box by Josh Malerman, and he's coming up with a sequel to Bird Box called Malorie, set apparently a few years later from the first one. If you haven't read the first one, it's super good. I highly recommend the audiobook. It's fantastic. It's about this kind of a plague that sweeps the earth, and when people see these things, they basically turn kind of insane and weird shit happens, basically. But yeah, the whole concept of this book is amazing. I loved it. It felt terrifying even though you were only reading it. But yeah, I can't wait for this. I hope that it's good. Then we also have The Pool of the Stars by Emma Donoghue, and I'm getting this in here, even though it's not my cup of tea at all, because it's set during the Great Flu. I love diseases. It sounds so bad when I say it like that, but yeah, it's basically set around that time, and I really love that, so I might actually try and give this one a chance. I might give this one a chance, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, we basically follow this woman in this maternity ward, stuck in there for 3 days, and I also really like when the characters are stuck in these places, like in Room. But yeah, it sounds interesting. I will give it a try. Then, on the 24th, we have another indie book. This is Sanctity of Steel. But yeah, this is kind of a more classic fantasy. Well, it's leaning more towards that area. And we follow this guy called Emerson. Follow him after this great war that happened 5 years later. He's actually trying to rebuild everything. And you know what? I really like that. I don't know. It's a trope that I really like. The building after all the war in the ashes. That's why I really like this Sword of Kagan. On the last day, the 28th, the first book that we have here is A Wicked Magic by Sasha Lawrence. This is another book about witches. Yes, what a great month is July. I mean, what? Zombies, vampire, witches? What is going on? We follow these witches that have to save these teenagers that basically were stolen by an ancient demon. I love it. You know what I don't love? That it's standalone. I need more series and less standalones, please. Then we also have Deal with Devil by Kit Rochka. This is a first book in a series called The Mercenary Librarians. And that series sounds amazing. I mean, what the hell? But, you know, the mixture for this book is Orphan Black meets The Avengers. What a month! What a month! But yeah, we follow this group of librarians that basically spread knowledge where it's needed, and one of them is kidnapped, and I don't know, it just, the name was everything to me. Give me a good name and a good cover and I won't give a shit. Basically about the summary. I will read it anyway. Then another YA fantasy. This is Ever Cursed by Corey and Heidu. We follow these 5 girls, and one of every single one of them is missing one essential thing. This is like sleep, love, remember, hope, and the ability to eat. You know, these different abilities. One of the girls actually turns 11. They have the chance to break the curse by basically facing the witch that caused it. And apparently we're going to follow both sides, and it's not something that we see often. So yeah, I'm super excited. God, I have 2 great books for the end. The first one is going to be Demon in White by Christopher Rocha. This is the 3rd book in the Sunnier series, which I'm currently reading because I got an arc. Insane. But yeah, it's been fantastic for now. I will say that the first book of the Sunnier series doesn't really reflect how the series is going, because the first book is pretty much basically a wrestler of gladiators fighting each other. And that's not what the series is about at all. In the sequel and in the 3rd book, we are following so much more things, and the exploration of the galaxy, and how the Empire works, and how kind of cyborgs, just to say it like this, work, and the aliens. I don't know if that is it still saying. I don't know if that's how the name is said, but insane. The sequel, the 2nd book. Wow, so much better than the first one. I will probably need to lower the rating for the first book, because the 2nd one is so good. I lied to you, I still have 2 more. Because I completely forgot about the sequel. This is Chaos Vector by Megan E. O. Cafe? I'm not really sure. But yeah, I just bought Velocity Weapon. Is just up there. Velocity Weapon, which is the first book, and I bought it because I think it was Scott. From Book Invasion. I think it was Scott said that it was a mixture between The Expanse and Mass Effect. What? And I needed it. I have no idea of what it's about. Other than that, I was just like, okay, I need this book, like, right now. But yeah, its sequel is coming out this month, which gets me really excited. Actually, the last book that I wanted to talk about is The Worst of All Possible Worlds by Alex White. This is, again, a 3rd book in a series, and you might know this cover because I didn't realize that it was the same series, but once I saw the cover of the first book, I was like, ooh, that's right. But yeah, the series is about treasure hunters on space, which is fucking amazing. But yeah, I really need to get into this series, but first I will read Velocity Weapon. Why am I saying Weapon? But first, I'm going to 100% read Velocity Weapon. I'm just kind of trying to not read it this month because I still have so many books to read. But yeah, I'm just super excited. There are so many cool books coming out this month. But yeah, we're going to leave it at that because I've been talking for so long now. So yeah, those are basically all the new releases that I thought that were interesting this month. So let me know if you are interested on any of them. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!